Hello there. I thought about doing a different view of, or a different perspective of where I record. It's just my room, let's be honest. Anyways, so with October finally finished, it's time for me to recap the last week or so. I've been I've been wanting to watch more releases from 2025 because I want to give a massive recap of all the films that been released this year that I've watched so far. I've been lacking, but I want to amend myself, so I'm going through a lot of the streaming services, as well as going back to the cinemas very soon to watch any new releases for these final 2 months. Didn't really need to mention that, but I just thought I'd mention it anyways. So let's get on with what I watched, shall we? With the first film that is not from 2025. The MCU has pretty much been dead ever since Endgame, with only about 5 to 6 projects being any good in my opinion. One of them is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is a great follow-up on both Infinity War and Endgame, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That's the film I watched. I watched Volume 2. Sorry for the confusion if I gave you anything. Volume 2 brings back our lovable band of outlaw misfits who's still trying to clean up their act by doing more good, whilst messing up at the same time. The story is entertaining, the group dynamics are all still enjoyable to watch, and everyone has something interesting going on, particularly Peter with his dad revelation. Him and Ego had a nice dynamic, and the twist reveal of him being the villain is still shocking to me, even though I know about it after 8 years now. Yeah, I like how he found a better family than who his real one was, with his romance with Gamora still being on the edge, but still very sweet, as well as his friendship with Rocket, a bit shaky as well, and Drax being Drax, always been the best wingman ever. Yondu and Rocket both have nice arcs, both being reflections of each other, and Yondu sacrificing himself for Peter still is sad, but is satisfying at the same time, with Peter somewhat realizing who his real dad was after all this time. The jokes are all collectively hilarious, still with me still laughing at anything Rocket says to anyone, and the ending is still one of my favorites from any of these films. A very sweet film. The Guardians films are some of my favorite in the MCU, and I'm very glad that, Volume 3 sent off this trilogy out on a high note. Being the only short of this video, Mr. Incredible and Pals. Watching this, but on the commentary edition, is so hilarious. You just can't help but belt out laughing at the back and forth commentary between Mr. Incredible and Frozen. I'm completely surprised all of this was scripted and it wasn't off script or just going for a back and forth dynamic, because it feels so natural to listen to. But despite its hilarity, it's just alright. It's very funny, but if you watch it without the commentary, which I didn't and I still haven't, you just get a below average kids show episode. I mean, that's not anything bad, but really the only way you should be watching this is with the commentary on, because without that, you're just gonna find another episode that, quite frankly, you wouldn't find yourself watching that often. Though, Nightbug is fine, though. Yeah. And when I say fine, I don't mean a fine character. I mean, she fine as hell. Catch my drift? Let's be honest. Aside from that, it's just fine. That's all I have to say. Next is Lost in Starlight. There is something cooking in the waters this year for Korean animation, especially when they're being released onto Netflix. Because let me tell you, I was hooked throughout the entire duration of this film, and it never slowed down for me in any sense. With being an incredibly well-written, well-animated a well-told film about the love between two individuals that transcends literal worlds by the end of the film, by the end of the feature. It's just so beautiful. The relationship between the two leads feels so natural, and I never stopped having a smile on my face whilst watching them interact. You can feel the connection between the two, and how that connection leads to hardship with their aspiring careers, potentially causing a rift. And it's so nice to see that didn't happen in the end, and that they eventually reconciles and the trust one another have for each other, for where their roads will take them. Do forgive me for cutting out a bit. It's hard to read this whilst trying to look at this as well. Yeah. And back to what I was saying, that's the power of great storytelling and the bond between two individuals who truly love each other. And I want this type of relationship to be the norm, not only in the real world, but in mainstream media as well, where this bond of trust and love is promoted so much more than whatever we constantly get in a lot of fiction, especially in modern day romantasy books, as well as modern day films. I mean, quite frankly, I wish that stuff like infidelity and toxic relationships aren't praised all that much, and instead it's being replaced with genuinely beautiful stuff like this, where it's an earnest, honest, and beautiful way of showing just a realistic and well told romance. I mean, it's something that I praised um, About Time. And that film with Donald Gleason starring, where he travels back in time to be able to get the girl of his dreams. I praised about how well the writing of that film is and how real it feels for the relationship between Donald Gleason and Rachel McAdams' character, even though it has time travel in it. It's well told, and it's the same way of this. And I wish relationships like that were praised a lot more. Healthy, honest, and earnest depictions of just healthy, honest, and earnest relationships. That's what I want more. More healthy stuff like this. And not any of the toxic stuff that we constantly are getting. Mm. And aside from the magnificent storytelling, it's also beautifully animated. That, yeah, and that, in my opinion, rivals even the likes of Sony's top films, even Spider-Verse. Yeah, I said it. This animation in this film could rival Spider-Verse and even some of DreamWorks' films like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and the Wild Robot. It's that good. And whilst I do mean to say that I don't think the style that those films have could ever truly be done as well as in this film, because those films have their own style that feels unique to those films. But in this, it's so beautiful. It feels like a painting brought to life, or like a painting that you're just walking into. It's so good and it's so magnificent. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, and yeah, I might be alone. I might be alone on that stand, but I don't really care. But still, go watch the film. It's that beautiful to watch. It's on Netflix, so there's no restrictions to watch it aside from just not having it. I think I've gotten along. I think I've gone long enough with this film. Usually, I try to stick to 1 minute now, but I just wanted to talk about this film so much. It's so good. Yeah, it's so well made, and I would love to hear and see more people talk about this film as much as K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't get me wrong, I love K-pop Demon Hunters. It's probably my favorite film of the year so far. Probably might be bumped down by hopefully The Running Man or Predator Badlands if they're just as great as I'm hoping them to be, but still. But I'd like this film to get as much praise as K-pop Demon Hunters has gotten so far. Support lesser known animated films, guys. We need to watch them a lot more. Next is Elio. I hate the beam mouth as much as the next guy. Anyways, it's alright. I actually don't think anything from Pixar that has the B-Mouth style, mainly on humans, is anything higher than a 7 out of 10. Mm. And saying that on humans, I actually think Elemental is really good. Yeah, aside from Elemental, but again, I chalk that up for being about elements and not humans. I don't know why. I really enjoyed Elemental, but I just didn't enjoy the rest of Pixar's catalog with the bean mouth style. Might have something to do with the style, but even then, it probably has just something to do with the storytelling. Yeah, yeah. I don't think the writing is that strong in any of the films that I've watched, and Elio is no different. It has basic plot, generic characters, and a vibe and a tone where you could just find it in any other film and not be missing out on anything by watching this. I mean, there are some really good things. I don't think it's terrible. Yeah. I like the friendship between Elio and Glorp. That's the main alien friend. And Elio's struggle with being autistic, which is not even subtle, but let me tell you this. Yeah. Especially to related to his aunt is really relatable for so many people, including me for a bit. Being on the spectrum myself and his reunion being on the spectrum myself, I related to his struggles with not fitting in kind of and just wanting to be understood a lot more and not be treated like a kid. But yeah, yeah. But his reunion with his aunt at the end is really sweet. I really did like the the where the relationship between the two paid off at the end. It's really sweet, and I'm glad that Elio didn't shun his aunt out completely because, I mean, his aunt does love him, and he's the only thing remaining of his parents after they died, and it's really sweet to see how it all ends. And I'm glad that they didn't shun her or anything. Though, quite frankly, and this is more so might be probably nitpicking on my part, but quite frankly, I just found Elio annoying throughout the first act, with him lying to everyone around him, dismissing other people's opinions, and just acting selfish throughout the entire first bit up until he meets Glorp. I mean, sure, he does have an arc learning to overcome it, but it's his fault that the aliens came for him while simultaneously breaking the army base's power supply when he was directly told to stay put and to not interfere. His aunt has every right to be upset with him. He pretty much nearly broke the power grid by sending that message to the aliens. Also, he lied to the council, which leads to the evil alien threatening to destroy the council if his son is not returned. Which he got into said mess as well. Yeah. And I'm saying this as someone who has autism. He should have been taught better to understand other people around him, whether it's from his deceased parents or from his trying aunt. I mean, sure, I can understand why I might just be nitpicking because I don't have any deceased parents and I don't have any strained relationships with any of my family members, but still, it felt like he should have known better to not dismiss other people's opinions. I mean, just because one's autistic doesn't mean they should be treated any differently, and it doesn't also mean that they shouldn't be punished differently. It should just mean that that punishment means that they should grow to learn better. And again, I'm saying this as someone who has autism, or Asperger's, as I've always been told I have that. Because it's higher functioning autism. As that's how I was described it, by the way. Yeah. And I could be completely in the minority here, but I believe that you shouldn't be let off the hook just because of disabilities and all that. I mean, sure, you should be let off a lot easier if it's a lot more extreme, but still, he seems capable enough to fit as a regular child, if not being a bit of a introvert. But still, he's still a kid, and he should know consequences and all that. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm probably just nitpicking here, and And I'm not saying this to be malicious or anything. I'm just saying this, it's just my opinion on how I reacted to the entire film. I mean, it's not all bad. I didn't hate him. I just found it a bit annoying, and I liked that he did grow eventually in the end. And again, it's probably his arc, but still. Yeah, either way, he still pissed me off regardless of his, regardless of his differing mental cognition. It doesn't bother me as much right now, or even when I watched it, but it was something that I thought about, and I think I just need to talk about it, because if no one else is gonna say what I wanted to say, I might as well say it myself. I mean, all in all, it's not good, but it's also not bad either. I will say that. Parasite. What is there to say about Parasite? It's truly an incredible film that absolutely deserved to win Best Picture at the Oscars. It's an incredibly well told and well made film from beginning to end. It's one of those films where you have to sit down for 5 minutes after you watched it to reflect on what you just watched. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Unfortunately, it's not on Netflix anymore due to it leaving a couple of days ago here in the UK, but try and find it elsewhere to truly understand the hype behind this well-beloved film. It's so good. I was very hesitant to watch it for a while because I wasn't really sure if it was going to be any good, but no, it's really that good. It's really good. Bong Joon-ho, he's a really good director, and I regret not watching Mickey 17 in the theaters. I really wanted to go see it, but I just never had the chance to it. So hopefully I'll be able to find it somehow in these last 2 months, so I'll be able to watch it. And truly still regret not watching Mickey 17. But Parasite, it's definitely his magnum opus. Well done to everyone who made this. You deserve all the praise. The final film, to end off the week, I watched Heart Eyes. Yeah. So yeah, I watched a slasher, a horror. I'm not really good with horror. I didn't really like horror, but it was good. Wasn't that scary, in my opinion, but yeah. I mean, it's not inherently a great slasher film, but a slasher nonetheless. Yeah. I mean, it's an alright film. I enjoyed the main lead's chemistry. The kills all got creative as the film went along. And whilst it is just Halloween, but Valentine's Day, it had some nice symbolism, some messages here and there, and a good central romance plot at the heart of it. It's not anything great, but it was a good time, and I'm kind of glad I watched it. It was a good time. To end off, what are the ratings of the film? Well, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I give that a 9 out of 10. Mr. Incredible 1 Pals, I give that a 7 out of 10. Parasite's later, sorry. Lost in Starlight, a 9 out of 10. Elio, a 6 out of 10. Parasite, a 9 out of 10. And Heart Eyes, a 7 out of 10. So, that's it for this week. Hopefully this will be a much more interesting video to watch. I mean, I know I don't get as many views as now, but I just enjoy making these videos, so at least one person can hear my opinions on these films. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if you don't want to watch 20-minute videos of just some guy talking in his bedroom about films with not really that high quality editing, just go watch something else, or go to Letterboxd to find me or anything. My account's name is down in the description below, so you'll be able to find it. Unfortunately, I'm not even sure if the links still work. It's this weird thing on YouTube. But either way, I just hope people will listen to my opinions and hear how much I love films. So yeah, that's the end of today's video, everyone. So yeah, leave a comment down below of what films I should watch next. Yeah, if you are interested in, let me know of stuff like that. Yeah, that's the end of today's video, everyone. I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Have a good one.